In the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two separate but equally important groups: the police, who investigate crime, and the district attorneys, who prosecute the offenders. These are their stories.
Another gang member murdered. Nothing ever changes.
All I'm saying is that if the chef learned to cook al dente, I might go to his restaurant a little bit more.
I just can't imagine being that picky about pasta.
I'm glad you're laughing now, boys. We got a case. Man killed on 4th and Marinera, right by Salvador's. This is a mob murder. A guy named Tony DeTony. Ran a lot of big operations on this side of town.
Forensics said the man was shot around 12 a.m.
That's well past closing.
Let's see if the owner knows anything. Hey, Coretta, on second thought, I feel like I should go in alone so that we don't intimidate him. Hey, kid, do you know where the owner is so I can talk to him? Can you get him for me? It's important.
Hey fella, what can I do you for?
I'm here to talk about the dead body that was found outside your restaurant this morning. Maybe you know something about it?
Oh yeah, I found Tony this morning is all. I was the one to call the police.
So you know him?
Yeah, Tony. He was a regular. Always paid his tabs. A real shame. He was a great guy.
Salvatore, were you aware that Tony was involved in gang activity?
Look, Tony and his boys look out for me and I let them in whenever they need.
Whenever? Even after hours?
Sometimes, if I'm closing up maybe. I don't know. Look man, I'm not interested in what they do.
I would be interested if I knew a bunch of criminals like to carry out their business in my restaurant. You don't want to get caught in between two gangs. I know Tony had enemies.
There's conflict, sure, but competition keeps business good for me. I don't care about their politics. Now if you'll excuse me, I have food to make.
It makes sense that he doesn't want to give too much away. When you tell too much and you'll lose your best protectors.
We just have to find out who this Tony guy's competitors are.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hell of a list. So you're Tony's brother?
Yeah.
So you know who he was involved with and who might have wanted him dead?
Yeah, I know. It was Guido.
Guido?
Yeah, Guido Scarbonara. He's been stepping on Tony's turf for a while now. The two of them have been talking a little bit too much lately for my liking. They planned to meet the night that Tony died.
Do you know where we can find him?
Go fish.
Guido Scarbonara?
Take a seat, gentlemen.
Are you aware of the death of Tony DeTony?
I've heard. What a shame. Me and my man had nothing to do with it, if that's why you're here.
It is why we're here. You and Tony were supposed to meet the night he was killed. Did you?
Well, my men and I got to Salvatore's, but Tony never did. Sal told us that Tony got cold feet, and he ran off with his men.
Why are you meeting at Salvatore's? It's not wise to meet in your opponent's home court.
No, we weren't fighting. We were seeking a business arrangement, working together.
What kind of arrangement?
A merger of sorts. The competition had been getting rough. We both knew it. But if we tried to lower the price of protection to outdo each other, eventually, neither of us would have made a profit.
And And with a monopoly, you can charge whatever you want.
Exactly.
I still don't see why Salvatore would have said that.
Said what?
That he doesn't get involved in gang politics. He was obviously involved enough to take the initiative to tell Guido that Tony had left.
Right, and it doesn't make sense that Tony would have left. And here's Guido coming to him basically saying that he's been beat and offering him the deal of a lifetime.
Right? Killing Tony is a bad look for Guido. I mean, who would have the incentive for breaking up the gangs and killing Tony?
Salvatore.
You really think so?
He even said it himself. There's conflict, but it keeps business good for me.
The defense is going to argue that he was protecting his business.
That's not going to cut it. He's trying to wage war against the free market, shackling the invisible hand that points business in the direction of profit.
Don't get too confident. I've seen easier cases lost by cocky lawyers.
Mac, as Tony's brother, you had knowledge about his personal interactions with Guido, yes?
Yeah, I was number 2.
Describe the relationship.
Guido's always stepping into Tony's territory. Whenever Tony loaned someone money or offered them protection, Guido would try and swoop in and offer them a better price.
Did you trust Guido when you found out he and Tony were going to meet?
Hell no, it was a setup.
Objection, Your Honor. Speculation.
Sustained.
No further questions.
Now, you knew about the meeting at Salvatore's, correct?
Yes,
And you believe that Guido had bad intentions for the meeting?
I knew it.
So when you heard that Tony had been killed, you assumed it was Guido.
Objection. Mac, don't answer that.
Withdraw, Your Honor. No further questions. Casey, how long have you been a busboy at Salvatore's?
About a year.
Did your boss, Salvatore, interact with Tony to Tony frequently?
Whenever they came in, he was the one to serve them.
Do you know how long Tony had been supplying protection to the restaurant?
Not a long time, only a few months or so.
And who had been providing protection before, if anyone?
Guido used to, but it was in Tony's best interest to offer even better services at lower prices. Saul said it was something called the invisible hand that made them compete with each other.
Can you explain this theory of the invisible hand a bit more for the jury?
Yeah, Sal says people naturally want to make money. Their self-interest influences them to make choices that will get the most profit. It makes people try to outdo their opponents by offering better deals and stuff.
In the month before Tony died, did you notice your boss's attitude toward Tony changed at all?
Yeah.
It's okay. You can answer.
One day he went and served them and he was real worried. He went into the back to check the financial records. Next time Tony came, he made me serve him.
And did the defendant ever say anything specifically about Tony to you after the incident?
He said the invisible hand was failing him and he was going to do whatever it took to keep Tony and Guido from meeting.
No further questions, Your Honor.
For one count of murder, how does the jury find the defendant?
We find the defendant guilty.